Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we are covering Season 3, Episode 8, Moral Midgetry.
It's hard to say.
Damn it. Midgetry. And we start, as always, by popping a recap. With Hamsterdam running full tilt, Carver and Trac discover there really is no honor among thieves. Prez impresses the detail with what he found. God dang it, my eyes are like... Okay, there we go. What he's found from Bodhi's cell phone. Information that sends McNulty and Greggs on a road trip. Colvin sees the benefits of his plan working, but has overlooked the human toll until the Deacon points out the deficiencies. Stringer Bell fumes over the cost of being a developer as State Senator Clay Davis attempts to cool him off with some easy money, and then delivers on his promise of a federal housing connect. Carcetti confronts a hurdle he must clear if he wants to run for higher office, while Marlowe appears to take the bait set by the Barksdale crew. Cutty is shown the possibilities for the future with a tour of a working gym, while the Western District cops toss back a few and weigh the merits of Hamsterdam and their loyalty to their commander. Brianna and McNulty sit down for a heart-to-heart, while Avon dispatches the troops to track Omar and wrestles with a revelation by Stringer. The episode was written by Richard Price. It was directed by Agnieszka Holland, and it premiered on November 14th, 2004. Richard Price has written one or two episodes already, but this is Agnieszka's, Miss Holland's, first episode directing. So,
okay.
All right. I just got to say, that was a very poor reading of the recap. So, not sure what's happening, but anyway, sorry about that. Even though I'll tell you up top, this is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. So I'm already off to a bad start. So Ellie, you got to help me out here. So, all right.
I will.
So why don't you help me out by reading that epigraph?
Crawl, walk, and then run, said by Clay Davis. Yep.
Yeah, like quite a few little moments in.
There's a lot of crawling and walking and running.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as always, after the epigraph, we take a look, before we get into the recap itself, we take a look at Ellie's predictions from last episode. So this was a little tricky because the first one, you had Major Crimes will figure out something about the phones, which they did.
Yeah.
So not making a lot of progress, but they did make some. They did
don't
figure
know where this
out.
is going.
And that the scene that we'll talk about with Prez is fantastic. So I'm going to give you credit for that.
Okay.
I mean, actually, no, it's not even a question because they figured out where they're buying them from. That's a whole thing.
They did.
Avon is going to be reactionary, and we'll go back at Marlowe. So,
yeah, not the way I expected, but he did.
Okay. Brianna will put it together that Dee was murdered.
Yeah.
Could say she figured that out.
Yeah.
So, yep. And now, you're right. That is correct. Whether she figured it out,
she doesn't really. Yeah, she's straight up told.
Yeah,
I mean, she doesn't want to believe it until she's slapped with the truth.
Yeah, but I think when we get to that scene, we'll talk about that. Cutty to me now. This one here.
Yeah. Oh my God, this made me so excited.
Oh my God,
I was so happy.
When Ellie was laying this out, I was like, interesting. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. So here's what she said. Cutty to meet up with Grace, and all these boys are doing nothing. So not Grace, but nevertheless, somehow gets him involved in helping. He gets involved in helping the boys because Ellie was asking, why did we meet Grace? And he's going to be a positive male role model.
Yes.
I mean, holy
that's
crap.
Quite a lot.
It was.
I was wrong about the Grace. Didn't realize it would come through the Deacon. But it was just an incredible pull, and I still can't believe he got it. Yeah. About it
so now we haven't seen him be the positive male role model yet, but he's on his way.
He's on his what?
Yeah, and then you did say Carter gets involved with Cutty and Grace. Now, not exactly, but I like that he's, his whole thing about the bikes and the radio, like working with Colvin on solving that. I'm giving you half point for that because, you had your heart was in the right place even if you're off. So nevertheless, excellent prediction. So, what is that? So basically, no, I would actually say, 5 for 5. So that's really good stuff. So, and really it should be 6 for 5 because Cutty to meet up, the Cutty prediction was so on point. It was incredible stuff. So. All right.
My dream came true.
Well done. Well, yeah, exactly. So no shirtless Chad Coleman this time.
No,
so,
not yet. So he opens that boxing gym, though. Maybe there's some possibilities.
Oh boy. Okay. Fans. Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to say something, but I will not until. Okay. All right. We'll leave it there. I just go. Oh, and one thing I did forget before we get started.
Yes.
At the end of episode 7, there was a dedication to Geraldine Peroni.
Yeah.
And she was an editor. I think the last episode she worked on was the season finale of season 2. So they were calling her Jerry Peroni, and that's why I didn't actually know that it was Geraldine, short for Geraldine. So anyway, if you're ever interested in hearing people talk very highly of Geraldine Peroni, go listen to the audio commentary for season 2, episode 12, Port of Storm, because the two commenters really go on and on about how beautifully edited that episode was. Thanks to her. So, all right. So sorry about forgetting that last time. And then, there's a couple of little notes from Alan Sepinwall and All the Pieces Matter for this, so I will be filling those in, but no commentary otherwise. So I think with all that, any questions, concerns,
No, I just love this episode.
Then let us start.
Okay. Well, I've got 5 storylines I'm following here. Carcetti gets schooled. That's where we're going to start with politics. Help for Hamsterdam. Tracking track phones. Home, James. That's a short one. And the Chump Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we go. Let's start with the politics. Carcetti's holding his public safety subcommittee meeting with Burrell and Rawls there. We've seen this in previous episodes this season. He asks about the 2% overall decline, and half of that coming from the Western's 8% drop, which we heard about in a previous episode too. And Burrell and Rawls both say, we believe this to be a statistical aberration. Carcetti suggests maybe they have downgraded or unfounded certain incidents. Burrell says, oh, no, we don't do that. We don't massage the data. Carcetti moves on pretty quickly to witness protection problems that the city's been having. Burrell tells him, I think we're doing as good a job as we can with the funds that we have. And him going into this is against the advice of D'Agostino. She said, hold on to that one. Wait until we, get this election going. But no, he did it there. And she's pissed about it. She gets up and she actually leaves because she's annoyed with him. When he starts going into it, Gray is next to him. He writes a note that says, now, ? On a piece of paper, slides it over to him. And I guess now, because Carcetti keeps on going with the department's need to provide sufficient funds for protecting endangered witnesses. And then Davis kind of chimes in very impotently at the end, that he agrees with his colleague on this one, making sure that he's said something for his future campaign, I'm guessing. Yeah. So that's where we are, starting out with politics here.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about this because just in the context of what Teresa lays it all out later on, it really does. I think it's actually helpful to go listen to what she says and go back and kind of pay attention to the comment in reverse. But you got it right, exactly, that Tony Gray coming in and saying I also agree. It's
and I also agree with my colleague.
Good job there.
Yeah.
Just there's something really interesting about how they capture the notion of the first mover has an advantage, even if potentially you don't say it right or whatever.
Right.
So, or say it eloquently or whatever.
Yes. Well, later, Carcetti and his wife Jen and D'Agostino, they're all having dinner together. Teresa tells him that he's being too sharp-tongued, a smartass, that he's not a likable candidate. And he is a little offended and surprised at this. He turns to his wife. He's like, Jen, and she kind of says, when you're explaining things to me at home and you're not up on some kind of soapbox or whatever, you're great. I believe in everything you talk about. And so D'Agostino tells him he needs to do more than hold court and win arguments. He needs to show them something more. Okay. Later on, he is working with a coach of some sort, clearly hired by D'Agostino. They're looking at tapes of him speaking. He's enamored with himself on video, clearly, again. And the guy's, just encouraging him to use warm, open phrases. So I guess we will soon be seeing a little turnaround in Carcetti's demeanor. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to bring up a topic that I did think that it sparked in my mind as I was watching this. Well, and so I'm going to start by saying I think it's important to recognize that every politician that you see that is at kind of the upper levels. So,
Yeah.
big city, state,
Yep.
and federal, they are being very likely coached to sound professional, to sound the way that you want.
Yep.
And Teresa in this scene makes a comment about Reagan not being able to summon a fact with a flashlight, right? Isn't it? Was that in this scene, right?
Well, she does mention Reagan, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, but she was
talks
talking about
that
Clinton.
he couldn't remember anything.
Right.
He never had any facts, but still
Yeah.
people listened to him.
Yeah, and so Clinton, and she was saying Clinton had facts and Bush had facts, I think, but Reagan couldn't summon a fact, right? Isn't that? I think that's what she said.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I just want to make sure I'm not mixing my scenes up. But in any case, the reason I mentioned that is because I immediately went to Donald Trump, and I was like, okay, let me apply this kind of rubric to him. And it's fascinating to me because the one thing that I have to give him credit for, I mean, there are probably a few things, but he is just able to speak and really get people at their emotional core.
It's true.
And so, it's just, I think he just has a preternatural ability to recognize that.
Right.
But it's really fascinating, and you just, you hear like, okay, well, I'm going to counter that with, well, I've got all these facts and here's our, dry, kind of humorless plans to, and there's just really something really interesting about, her point here applies today as well, is that you have a guy who just 100% hits the emotional core for enough people to get them to vote for him.
Right.
And I was like, part of me is like, why? So many times I see people say, I would never vote for Kamala. Like, I don't like what Trump is doing, but I would never vote for Kamala. I'm like, why the hell not?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, because he is appealing to their emotional side of things.
Yes.
And Kamala 100% was not. Now,
right.
I don't really... I fault her for not identifying that was the playing field. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to say, like, what you should have been, really more emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
But that was the playing field that she was on, and she was never going to get. And I think that's why people were like, still to this day, despite what they're seeing and not liking, turned off by the fact that the alternative was just so dry and kind of whatever.
Right. So, well, or that it was more focused on hope rather than our fears, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's my own take. But
no, I mean, I think that's right. And the fear is certainly more overpowering in terms of like what's going to motivate you. So, anyway, so just a fascinating kind of component to think about and measure in today's world. So, yeah.
Still so relevant.
Yes. Okay. All right. That was so no argument. I was right. I mean, nothing to counter with or anything. Okay. Well, then I was expecting a debate.
Oh, sorry.
No. It's not, I'll just,
I could come up with something.
No, it's okay. That's fine. Let's keep moving.
Let's move on then to the Western District. Okay, so it's a rough scene in the Western. Of course, drugs are being sold openly, but then we have some guys come out of a building supporting someone in the middle of them, and they're being instructed by somebody else to put ice on his nuts. Yeah. What the hell? I don't know what's going on. They're like, where are we going to get ice in Hamsterdam? Oh, that's okay. Just leave him at the hospital, they tell him. Mm-hmm. Then this young white woman is driven up to a dealer. She asks for an 8-ball. He's trying to make conversation. She just doesn't want to talk to him. She looks terrified, like she wants to get out of there as soon as possible. It really doesn't bother the dealer too much. He's like, okay. And then a young child comes up to deliver said 8-ball. She says, thank you. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the dealer then is told by another guy walking by that MacMan Jewelers was robbed and he can get a good deal on all this stuff, like what he's wearing in a row house down yonder. So that is what he does. He goes to the row house. As soon as he goes in, he is getting robbed. There's a gun in his face. And so that's going on. We see Carver then checking in with Trac, Thurston, and then there's this other guy. I don't know all their names. And he finds out from them that Hamsterdam's been quiet apart from a few overdoses the previous night. Apparently that stuff was really good. And then that dealer inches his way out of the row house that he was in. He's bound and he's gagged. And Carver goes over to him. Trac goes into the house and they see that there are 3 other guys. They're all bound and gagged as well. When they tear the tape off the dealer's mouth, he says, God damn, can't you ever get a fucking police around here when you need one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually the start of the episode right there.
Yep.
Pretty intense.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great scene, though. And, of
Yes.
course, like, this is one of those crawl, walk, run things, right?
Yes,
like, so you,
crawling,
yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
You know, God, I didn't even get the metaphor,
Oh.
but of course that's right.
He's
but
really
but it
crawling.
is, yeah, he's really crawling. But also,
Yes.
but of course, like this is, you know, crime now
Yeah.
gets introduced back into,
Right.
even though the police are sitting right, there.
This
So
place could not be running smoothly yet because
Yeah.
they're still crawling along.
yep. God, I didn't. Oh my God. That's this so many layers.
So many layers.
Yeah.
Okay, later the dealers are talking, but really more complaining to Carver, Herc, and Colicchio. They're saying, hey, you know, we're following the rules around here, but we're not being protected. And they say they want to file a report. And Herc jokes, you want to complain that you were selling drugs and someone took your money? And they say, yes,
Hell
they
yes,
do.
yeah.
Yes, they do. And it's like Carver's listening to them, but Herc is kind of, you know, like whatever. And Colicchio, you can see this is where we see Colicchio like this anger and just this feeling of lack of justice and being incensed starts to build and
Yeah.
build and build.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't think I put it together until this episode about, you know, essentially you have three extremes, right?
Yeah.
Herc is kind of in the middle,
Right.
maybe leaning a little towards Colicchio, or maybe
Yeah.
more than a little, but
Yeah.
Colicchio's just like, fuck this, all the
Yes,
shit.
yes.
And then Herc is in the middle where he's like, he still got Carver
Yeah.
wanting to like relate to him, but meanwhile he also is like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Last episode he called them, you know, just kept referring to the people
As
living there as
animals,
animals.
yeah.
And then you have Carver who's like, you know, we have to do right by
Yeah.
these people because
This is
they're
being humane.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay, well, let's see here. Colvin and the Deacon are talking. Colvin's going on about how great, you know, he says Mount and Fayette look now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Deacon wants to know how he's doing this. So Colvin takes him to Hamsterdam. And the Deacon's clearly unimpressed with what he sees. There's like one moment where like a half-naked woman basically comes out in front of him. And in the meantime, while the Deacon is looking through there, Colvin's getting an update from Carver about the dealer's complaints and what he's doing about it so far. Carver compares it to a lamb pen with wolves circling the corral. And he says what really concerns him, though, are the 50 to 60 kids with nothing to do now that they are not runners or lookouts anymore. Colvin suggests that he gives them a job as auxiliary cops, which he's like, what? What was the line that he said? You want me to throw, you know, get bicycles and
yeah.
yeah, that's
and
awesome.
radios, yeah.
And radios, yeah, get police radios and bicycles. But that's when Deacon comes back and asks what in God's name Colvin has done.
Yeah.
Take it downtown. Yo. You up, old man?
They do have a point, though, right? I mean, we tell them to come down here without the guns, and then we fall down on providing protection.
It's like the stick-up crews have these hoppers feeling like they live in a lamb pen. They see one more gun, Gandhi world falls apart. This I guarantee.
So what are you doing about it?
I sent a few of the Vics over to the district with Herc, let them play with an identikit, but you know how that goes. Can I be honest? It's not just the wolves circling the corral. We got 50, 60 kids on the inside, been fight or flight since they popped out the chute, and right now they just thumb up their ass hanging. All these ex-runners, ex-lookouts. That shit worries me as much as any carnivores out there.
If you want to neutralize the threat, give it a job.
As?
Auxiliary cops, keep an eye out for the predators. You got the dealers paying them to do nothing know-how anyway. Kill two birds and all that.
Right. Throw them some bikes, maybe police radios.
You know, we could do that.
I was being... You serious?
In God's name did you do it?
Yep. Yeah. That was.
I don't want to
yeah.
be on the bad side of the
No.
Deacon. He should, I would duly feel ashamed.
I mean,
of
yeah.
myself.
Whereas like Colvin was all like, look up, he was so proud, and
Yes.
Deacon's just like,
yes,
oh my
like,
God.
what the hell is, you know, literally, this is hell,
Yeah.
is what he's saying.
Yeah, and that line is just like, wouldn't God, like the way
Yep.
he just delivers it, so
Yes.
so just
It's
flatly, weirdly. So
It is great.
yeah, and I'm just gonna tease my my life lesson, but fight or flight since they popped out the chute is a particularly crude way to describe being born, but I think it's just interesting because you think like, well, why don't they just
Yeah.
go back to school? But like they're not in a mental place for it.
Right.
Like, how can they, they've been living on the street.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to go and,
Just sit in a classroom.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
your
So
ABCs.
it just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, the deacon and Colvin are talking back in Bunny's office. Colvin's trying to say, I'm trying to save a huge area of my district by sacrificing this small area. And Deacon kind of schools him, saying that this is this is what he said. He says, it's a great village of pain, and you're the mayor. And he asks him, where's the clean water? Where are the needles, the condoms, the treatment center? Colvin tells him, I'm a cop. I'm police. I could either lock them up or I can move them.
Yep.
And that's basically all he can do.
Yep.
So, yeah. And the deacon's absolutely right, though. Yes.
Look, I'm just trying to make my district livable. I write off a few blocks in a few places, but I save the rest.
No offense, but you're like the blind man and the elephant. It's a lot bigger than what you got your hand on. You just can't see it.
See what?
A great village of pain, and you're the mayor. Where's your drinking water? Where's your toilets? Your heat, your electricity? Where's the needle truck? The condom distribution? The drug treatment intake? Half these people are down on their feet, and the other half's gonna catch what's killing them.
Look, they ain't no worse off than when he was all over the map. Now they just in one place is all.
And that place is hell.
Look, I'm a police, so I can lock a man up or I can move his ass off the corner. Now, you want anything more than that? You're in the wrong shop.
Hey, yo, make her hair a little bit more straight. Make it long with bangs.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, Chinese up them eyes like Beyonce.
Get those cheekbones up a little bit, you feel me?
Nah, man, that's too much. She's starting to look like a pie tin with hair now, yo.
Hang on. Yeah, all right. Pull those lips a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Hook me up with that.
Yo, you got one of these does asses?
What? Yeah, that's what's up. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, again, the crawl, walk, run thing,
Yes.
right? Like, he's solving this one problem, but that is only the beginning of a much bigger effort.
Yes.
And so,
think if the deacon was there when Bubs was walking through there at night in that nightmarish scene. Oh my God, he would have been like, "What have you done?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least he gets to see it in the light of day.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, although, and I got to give credit to Colvin, just saying, like, I can, I'm a police and here's what I'm able to do.
Right.
And so, he's like essentially appealing to the deacon for help to like,
Yep.
okay, well, if you see us, need a
Yep.
problem needs solving, then you got to help me
True.
find the right people.
Yes.
So,
Well, Herc has taken the dealers into the precinct to use the identikit computer to make a composite image of the guy who robbed them. And they pick it up really quickly. So quickly, Herc is impressed. He decides to get involved with the action. Colicchio, however, is disgusted that they're even working with the dealers, that they're even entertaining this idea at all. So he takes off. He's angry, kind of hulks out of there.
Yeah.
Later, Carver comes in, and now we see that the guys have created a woman with Herc using the identikit. They're like trying to give her some Chinese-like eyes, like Beyonce, higher cheekbones. Oh, don't make her look like a pie tin with hair. Anyways, Carver is clearly unimpressed, but not in the same way that Colicchio was. Like, Carver's just like, what a waste of time. Colicchio's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Kind of. So, yeah, the tension's building.
Yeah.
Colicchio's going to do something bad pretty soon here.
Yeah, well,
not in this episode, but I'm sure it's coming.
I don't know about that, but what I will say is, I think it's really interesting how Herc responds to these guys. Like, he finds this connection there, which I just think is really,
it
kind of
reminds
cool.
me of like Carver and Herc with Bodie and playing
Yeah,
pool
yeah,
together
exactly. Oh, that's
and
right.
getting
Yeah,
sandwiches together
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. It's like, I mean, in the one moment he can call them animals, but then he can also like hang with them and just be a person. It's so confusing.
Yeah.
Herc, I don't get you, man. All right, shall I continue?
Yeah, I mean, the comment about the beanie eyes, I really
the
like
beanie.
that, yeah.
Beanie eyes, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
So funny.
Yeah, and then of course like the whole next part about like Beyonce up there. What does he say?
Oh my
Beyonce up them
God.
lips or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he says Chinese like eyes,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
Beyonce,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pillow up the.
Oh, that's
lips.
what it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that
God.
was just I mean those guys are they're so good.
All right. Well, later that night, Herc and Carver, Trac, Colicchio, and there's a couple other guys. They are talking about Hamsterdam. Colicchio, this is where he says it's moral midgetry.
Yep.
That they're treating these brain dead corner yos like princelings. Carver points out that street traffic is half of what it was, that Colvin has always backed up his men, that he's earned the right to try whatever he likes after 30 years of service. But Colicchio just says it's just wrong. Really, that's all that he can say is it's just wrong. And Herc tells them Hamsterdam is on borrowed time anyways, right? Because he's under the impression that they're fish in a barrel. That's what they were told.
Yep.
And that after that, they'll all just go back to the corners. But Colicchio is very skeptical about that temporary status. I was curious about moral midgetry and where that came from. So I was just like, did it come from here or is it from something else? The moral midget is actually what is the phrase, the moral midget. It's a derogatory term used to describe someone perceived as lacking in moral character or ethical principles, implies a significant deficiency in one's moral stature, usually used to express strong disapproval of a public figure or a group's actions or behavior. And it's been used at least since the 70s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
The moral midget.
Yeah.
So this is moral midgetry.
You know what this is? It's moral midgetry. Turn the fucking world upside down. Treat these brain-dead corner yos like princelings.
You see how clean the corners are? In every sector, street traffic is half what it was.
Fuck that. It's wrong, and it's wrong.
Like the other way was right because we were doing so well.
And Colvin's answer is what? Right shotgun for hoppers, ground him and cash money paid.
Colvin, he's always been good police.
And he's gotta know what a fucking heartbreaker it is to wake up every morning, suit up for this shit.
He's got to suit up too, man. Somebody should dime the brass about this shit.
Or the Sun papers.
Now, let me ask you something. Anybody here ever get jammed up and not have Colvin go to the wall for you? The man is trying something. It may be hard to stomach, but it's working. After 30 years, don't you think he's earned the right to some elbow room on this?
The fuck? This thing is on borrowed time anyhow. You know, and when we do decide to jump on Amsterdam's, they're just gonna go back to the regular corners, right?
If we ever jump out on it, I don't know that we're gonna.
All I'm saying is let's give the guy the same backup he's always given us. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think there are too. I just realized there are too many life lessons, so I'm just gonna, but it's always interesting because to think about like, well, first of all, morality is it's a personal, essentially a what's the word? It's a personal
Like an ethic or
framework
moral
framework that you
Framework,
live with, right? Like
Yeah.
I believe this is moral, and somebody might look at the same actions and think this is immoral.
Yes.
And so there's something very interesting about that comment because Colicchio is just like it is moral to apply all the laws all the time,
Right.
irrespective
He's super
of
black and white.
exactly, irrespective of the
situation.
that
Yeah.
and so whereas Colvin, it's much more a gray area, long view kind of thing where it's
Right.
like I'm trying to affect a greater good
Mm-hmm.
by turning a blind eye towards some crime.
Yeah.
And so, it's it's a personal thing, but that of course is how Colicchio kind of justifies his like frustration and anger at
Yeah.
the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's just that, anyway. So that being said, while I disagree with Colicchio's comment about moral midgetry, I do like his it's wrong and it's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like that,
It's
but it's
wrong
just good stuff.
And it's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, some things are.
I mean, I guess like I wonder if it's like maybe he's thinking about it. It's wrong, kind of legally, and it's wrong ethically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you're right. I think that is what he's saying.
But if you have the
Yeah.
opportunity to point out, to emphasize by saying it's wrong and it's wrong, I definitely recommend doing so. So anyway,
Oh, okay. Well, let's move on here because next up is my Dennis. I'm calling him Dennis now. I'm not calling him Cutty
Okay.
anymore because
All right. Yeah, that's
he
right.
wants to go by Dennis.
yeah. Oh, geez.
So
did I
I'm
mention
calling
him as
him.
Cutty?
You did, but it's
Okay.
okay. I'm
Okay,
calling him
sorry.
Dennis,
Mhm.
and Dennis is chatting with the deacon. He's helping him load boxes into a car. He tells the deacon that he's got to put his mind to something, take command of his life. The deacon says maybe he needs to surrender himself. And by the crucifix around his neck that we get to see, we know he means the Lord. But Dennis says he's not ready to go there. You can stop that patter. He says, however, that it needs to be more than doing something just for himself. This is where I got really excited.
I just know I got to put my mind on something or I'm gonna slide back. Need to be in control of myself, you know what I'm saying?
Take command of your life.
Something.
Cultivate some self-discipline.
Or whatever.
What if I told you that there's a certain liberation, not in command or in self-control, but in surrendering?
Well, that depends on who you surrendering to. Oh, that. Hey, all due respect, you can stow that patter right here and now. Look, it ain't about me doing for me, I don't think. Might need to be about more than that.
So later, some boys are playing basketball, not with a real hoop, but a milk crate connected to a backboard. Apparently, they destroyed the old hoop. I guess maybe that's the one that Carver got them. We see a large, nicely dressed man, and he's trying to settle a beef with two boys who are fighting. He tells them that they're like brothers, and if they lose that, they lose every damn thing. And that's when the deacon introduces Dennis to him. We find out this is Roman, a community leader of some sort.
Yep.
He's trying to help out in Hamsterdam. And, he talks about how the good hoop was broken and that, now they're using a peach basket just like how basketball really started. Suggests maybe he should try to get a tournament going. The deacon asks Dennis if he plays, but Dennis tells him he boxed. He's better with his hands, which I kind of I forgot about that. He's always been punching a bag down in the basement there at Mima's. Roman says that would be great, but the closest gym that any boys go to, it's too far away. And the deacon says, well, I'd like to see it anyhow, just to get a mental picture in my mind.
Hey. What you doing? Tucker, man, you got him. Y'all are friends. You're like brothers. You lose that, you lose every damn thing. Kids messed up the good hoop. Now they got one that looks like the original peach basket. And they're hanging on to it like a tit. I don't know. Maybe I should get up some kind of tournament.
You play basketball?
Never was much for balls and sticks. I was all about my hands.
Boxer?
Yeah.
Boxing. I know a place where some of the kids go, but it ain't near close enough to here.
I wouldn't mind taking a look at it. Get a mental picture at least.
Hey, yo, what the hell's going on here?
Police push all the action down here and a couple other places. The deacon thinks that maybe some people should come in here and take over the situation.
Are you that people?
One of them, maybe. Foreman, man.
Dennis.
So the three of them go to a working boxing gym with there's filled with kids and adults working out, and then on the walls you see all of these newspaper bout announcements, right? Like announcements or maybe they're like showing who was victorious all over. And Dennis looks like he's home, like he's found his calling. It's really lovely.
Yep, definitely is. And this, again, Ellie's prediction was really incredible. How she and because she basically predicted not just that it happened, but the journey that he went on was really something.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't see was I was wondering if there was a picture of Avon somewhere on the walls.
So that's the thing. I was thinking about that because there's a few guys, right, that we know now who box. We know Avon boxed, and then we know too Bodie's brother boxed.
Right.
So I was wondering about that connection.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on the walls.
I did not pause it to look long enough. But it did make me think about that time when they found the newspaper clipping of Avon. That's the only way that they knew in season 1 what he looked like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Bunk makes a comment about knowing what to do with your hands, and he was saying that there were some guys that really knew how to rack.
Yes.
And so there's boxing seems to be a through line in the inner city neighborhood. So as I've mentioned many times, I'm almost positive that this comes from direct exposure by David Simon and Ed Burns to seeing these kinds of things, which, you know, is it, you know, while I generally would prefer that people not go into boxing, if this is a diversion that keeps you active,
right,
and, you know, focused on, you know, physical well-being and things of that nature, then you know, that's definitely a net positive. So
yeah. Well, Colvin later meets the deacon in a pool hall where he is hustling/educating another man. The deacon says he needs to talk to him about Hamsterdam, but they're going to have to do it later because Colvin needs to attend a Comstat meeting. So, yeah. I love the deacon is just a pool shark, apparently.
Yeah.
Educates people when they lose their money.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You hustling?
Educating.
You charging for it or tuition free?
Tuition will come back to him tenfold in a quiet wisdom. Besides, nothing in the world is more expensive than free.
That's all she wrote.
Let's double it.
Nah, man. I don't like taking money from a church going man.
Triple it.
Your break, Deacon.
We need to talk some more about Amsterdam.
Look, man, I never said it was pretty.
Pretty doesn't even come close to the problem. We need to talk.
I got Comstat meeting. I'll drop by later on.
And I mean, and he's like, "Nah, I can't take money from a church going man. Triple it, just
Triple it.
Holy crap!" The guy should have run away at that point. I mean, we don't know what actually happened, but man, that guy was. You get the sense that the deacon was going to run that guy. So.
Okay, well, at the Comstat meeting, Colvin presents his impressive numbers. They're now up to a 12% decrease. And Rawls asks if the numbers are cooked. He said, yeah, you know, we want to look good to the mayor, but I don't want to go to jail for this. He turns and asks Lieutenant Daniels if this has anything to do with him. But Daniels says, we're barely up on anything. In fact, bodies are still dropping over the beefs that are going on with these gangs. Colvin says sometimes the gods listen, and Rawls tells him, I'm going to check your numbers. And Bunny says they're going to be good. I trust my numbers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Through the effective use of resources, an increased police presence, and an intensive reach out into the community, we've been able to have a significant impact on these areas to the effect of a 12% decrease overall.
12%?
Cumulatively, over 4 weeks.
Major, I know I gave you shit when your stats took a jump a few weeks back, but now you're going to shove the numbers right up my ass? It's kind of pouty of you, isn't it?
12%. I didn't cook them then, I ain't cooking them now.
Seriously, Bunny, I already got the city council asking questions about the 8% drop you posted last week. We just want to please the mayor, not go to jail behind this shit.
Well, sometimes the guys do listen, sir.
Not in the Western, they don't. Lieutenant Daniels.
Sir?
You want to take credit for any of this? Your unit's been working in that district a couple of weeks.
We're barely up on anything. In fact, the crews we're looking at is still beefing, still dropping bodies.
Amazing. Crime is down and no one wants to take any credit. What is wrong with this picture? You don't mind if I have planning and research pull all your CC numbers? Make sure there's not a decimal point missing between the 1 and the 2?
Pull everything, Deputy. Our number will stand.
It's a good moment.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And I love Colvin just essentially giving a little fuck you to Rawls.
Yeah, and bringing back the gods listen.
Yeah. Non-blank. Exactly. That's right. Yes. I mean, the funny thing to me about it is that the way that he started, he took basically his ass kicking in that first.
Yes.
But if you then, then start cooking.
Yes.
Like you sandbagging a little bit. Like, what's the problem? Like, if it's just a numbers game and you're trying to, make your district look good.
Right.
Start with the lowest possible and then say, okay, I'm making some changes. I don't know. I'm sure that's they thought about that, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, it's a good moment for Colvin. I really,
Yes.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Colvin, Roman, and the deacon meet back at the pool hall, and they're there with people from the public health school. And he tells them, hey, you know, this Hamsterdam place, all the people that need your services are here all together, one spot. They ask if it is sanctioned by the city. Nope, it's not. And that's why we are going to you instead of the city health department, and why you will have to be in fast and temporary. But it sounds like there's, you know, a lot of services that can be possibly given. This is good for them because they don't have to go all over the city trying to find people and help them. They're all in one place. All right, moving on. Roman takes the deacon and Cutty to an old abandoned gym. And they walk in there. It doesn't look like it's in great shape. They say, hey, you're going to have to get some help. Oh, it's not. I think just the deacon is there. Is Roman there?
No, I think Roman's
Oh, he is.
there,
Okay.
yeah.
That'll have to get some help. But Dennis is okay with that. He says he needs to go from A to B all by himself.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, I was wondering about that, why he felt that way.
I don't know why. I don't agree with that statement at all. I
No.
think when you get people involved, get people to, you know, believe in your mission and help you out, that's a wonderful thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know.
mean,
maybe it's a little bit of too, like, you know, in season 2 when Frank says, I got to get clean.
Yeah.
And you got to just kind of do that hard work to just absolve yourself or something. Maybe that's part of it for him too.
Yeah. I also, but I agree. 100%. That's where my mind went as well. But then I connected that also to the crawl, walk, run. Like he's basically at the crawl stage, and he knows that you can't rush it. You have to go along on your own. So I definitely think there are a couple of layers working there. So
yeah. All right. Well, the next day in Hamsterdam, the services are there. They're exchanging needles. They're handing out free condoms. A boy comes up to Colicchio. He said, and I'm not sure what he means. He says he just rolled for peanut butter. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
He says, I just rolled for peanut butter. Have you got anything else? And that's when Colicchio yells at him and is like, maybe I misunderstood what he said, but he yells at him. He's like, do I look like Chef Boyardee?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so mean to him. But while he's yelling at him, Colvin and Roman are behind him and looking, and they're like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Right.
Like, why are you just ripping into this kid who wants something? I don't know what he wanted, but anyway. Or maybe he just rolled for peanut butter. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. But anyway.
We'll have to read that.
So the next time we see Colicchio, it's back at the Western District office or precinct. And Colvin sees him and he asks him where he's at. And Colicchio kind of quietly responds his location and his direction, like all the guys in his precinct know to do. But he looks like just really unhappy and just kind of sucked into himself.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Colicchio, if you ruin this thing, man, I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah. Well, I won't say anything about that, but nice try, Ellie.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because you know, Colvin, I think, is trying to reconnect with him.
Yes, I think that's exactly what he's doing.
But it just doesn't feel like
Yeah.
he's doing a particularly good job of listening to him. So he just feels like, hey, remember why what we're doing here?
Yeah,
and,
you're one of my guys, and
yeah.
Nope.
So, yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move into the major case unit.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So we're working on track phones. Okay. So the major case unit, they're working on that burner that Greg Sidner and McNulty got from Bodie. Prez tells Daniels and Freeman that he has tracked Bodie's track phone using the serial number and traced it through distribution to Buddy's Mondo Mart, where we know it was sold to Bernard. We remember that. Daniels teases Prez a little bit about his level of detail. You know, was it to the right or the left of the cash register? Prez is like, how would I know?
Yeah.
Prez also finds out that the 6 other numbers, they're all track burners, and he knows where those were sold to. Never more than 2 from any single store. Freeman maps out those locations, which are all along I-95, which I'm guessing connects Baltimore and Richmond, Virginia. And Daniels and Freeman are just really impressed with the discipline of it all, of the obtaining these burners to make sure that they, you know, always have new ones from different locations and aren't traceable.
Okay, on that burner, I called Trac. Gave him the serial number. Trac Corporation told me that they sent it to Northland Purchasing Corporation. Northland tells me they sent it to their distribution center at Hagerstown. Hagerstown tells me they sent it to Buddy's Mondo Mart. at 1440 Propane Road, Falls Church, Virginia. That's where it went out into the street. What?
Did Buddy have them on display to the left or the right of the cash register?
How would I know that? All right. As for the numbers in the phone's speed dial, we got one local number, one number that tracks to Bodie's grandmother's house on West Baltimore Street, and 6 other numbers that are all assigned to Trac disposable cell phones. And those phones were all purchased outside the city. One each in Catonsville, Laurel, Bethesda, and stores in Virginia at Springfield, Dumfries, and Lakeside.
Everything's along I-95 from here to almost Richmond.
So they fill in McNulty and Kima. They're still just, pretty impressed with it all. I like the line, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean someone's not out to get you, right?
Great line.
Yes.
Great line.
And then Daniels puts those two on to tracking down the buyers.
Yeah.
So going to the Mondo Marts and figuring out who is making the purchases.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention about that. Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know why I noted it, but so Kima and McNulty are in the shitter in this episode.
Yes. Yeah.
And,
oh man, he just looks at them as like it'd be nice to, or I can't remember what he says, but it's basically a suggestion that they know means that they need to go do it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And yet they just go without complaint, which I think this is an interesting contrast with Carver and Hurt.
Carver. Yeah,
so
for
just,
sure.
Just something to note about that.
Yep.
So I just feel like good goddamn police those two.
Yep,
So,
for sure. Well, they visit Buddy's Mondo Mart, and the guy there tells them that not only would he not be able to remember a black guy who bought a burner phone 10 days ago, but that their security tapes are reused after a week. And so when Greggs and McNulty look at the map, and he tells them that's like the store policy. That's Mondo Mart policy.
Yep.
So Greggs and McNulty look at a map. They realize all of the closer locations where burners were bought are Mondo Marts. Oh, no.
Yep.
So they have to drive 100 miles instead to Baba Johnny Food Mart.
Mm-hmm.
And while they are figuring this out, Landsman calls McNulty, tells him that Brianna Barksdale has tried to reach him, and gives him her number. And McNulty hardly remembers even trying to press that angle. He sees it like this drive of 100 miles as a potential waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And Kima's comment, do you really want to go home and
Lester
disappoint Lester Freeman? God.
You really want to disappoint Lester
Just there's something
Freeman.
about being the person that will I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yes,
perspective.
yes, exactly.
But yeah, so and you got that like the discipline of going to the same place with the same policy.
Yes.
That was just it was a nice reveal, obviously. It's
Right.
not like it's complicated, but
Right.
And then you have to go find Baba Johnny's.
Yes.
So, yep. And then of course it also becomes clear about because I don't know that it was that clear why they were only buying 2 at a time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it becomes clear now. Right?
Yes,
So, okay.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, they get to Baba Johnny's, and the guy there does remember Bernard. In fact, he remembers that he bought 8 phones the
Mhm.
last time, and they even have the receipt for the purchase. But they too reuse their tapes even
Yeah.
more often. I think they use their tapes every single day or something like that.
Mhm.
And so, it seems like a dead end, but then McNulty spots a local patrol car.
Mhm.
Yeah. So McNulty and Kima, oh God, this is terrible. They
Yeah.
go to the local police station. McNulty tells Kima to stay in the car so he can deal with Buford Pusser, who was the guy, the Southern sheriff that inspired Walking Tall.
Nice.
I knew I remembered the name. I had to look it up, but then I, as soon as I saw Walking Tall, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So McNulty goes in. He and the local sheriff are talking about Baltimore. He's like, oh, yeah, my wife and I went there, and dinner was so expensive or whatever. And McNulty starts in about how Baltimore has gone to hell in a handbasket.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to all the black people in power, basically. He is under the impression that this is, a Southern Virginia white police officer who's going to think black people are terrible.
Right.
And he is just very quickly putting his foot in his mouth, because then you see in the background the sheriff's, somebody who works there, a woman who's African American, then she comes up and kisses the sheriff on the head. Oh, that's his wife.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh no, some of them are great. Some of them are really great. You should meet my partner.
Baltimore, huh? Went up there to the harbor with my wife for our anniversary. Charged us $12 for 2 beers.
Shit, that's the least of it. Whole damn town's gonna hell in a handbasket. And guess who's running the show?
Who?
Who do you think? Department, City Hall, the courts. Shit, the courts? You know what they call it when judge, jury, and perp all go to the same family barbecue? Catch and release.
No shit.
And God have mercy on any poor white boy going to trial. That's when everybody's got their ass in the air talking about justice. Can't wait to throw away the key. I mean, they're not all so bad. Actually, there's a lot of good ones.
I'm on the radio if you need me.
My wife, Caroline.
Some very good ones.
Is there anything specific I can help you with while you're down here, detective? Or is this just a courtesy call?
You know, you should meet my partner. You'd like her.
Anyways, despite all of this, the sheriff does ask, like, what can I do to help you with this situation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that was so uncomfortable. That whole thing was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of like kind of made-for-TV cringe moments, but it was pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I'll just say, yeah, good life lesson also. Like,
yes.
Make sure you understand who you're. Do your best to understand who you're talking to. It's not like that play couldn't have worked, but make sure that you the purpose.
Don't make those assumptions based on like what just the location that you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Much.
Yeah. So, so I'll continue on the scene then.
Okay. Well, the sheriff tells him that he also has had an issue with the tapes at Baba Johnny's because I guess kids have been stealing stuff there. So he said that he now uses the camera roll from the insurance man across the street. So he's had that guy aim his camera at Baba Johnny's. You know, McNulty tries the door. It's locked. He tells him that he can get them a copy of the tape in the morning. And then McNulty goes back to the car, and as soon as he's out of earshot, the sheriff tells Kima that McNulty is a bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
And Kima's like, for real?
Yeah.
You know, like, for real? Yeah. Not in a, oh, really?
Yeah.
In a, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that I ever read it that way, but of course you're right.
She knows.
Yeah. So just before we move off the comment. So McNulty says to Kima when they get the receipts, he says, "Seek and you shall find." And the closed captioning spells seek as S-I-K-H.
Oh, my gosh.
And which I just thought was like, now, sorry.
Yeah.
So
they get that.
It's a reference.
Right.
I can't remember if the guys behind the counter noted that at all. I mean, it is interesting, of course, like I actually would not be able to tell you if the person was actually a Sikh or not, but nevertheless, it seemed like a little bit of a sophisticated joke for McNulty.
Yes,
but also that like unless you were watching the closed captioning, you would not get that at all. But it is a little bit of a reminder about that there is a little bit of an allegory of the Iraq War in this season.
Sure.
So there you go. So, the Sikh faction in Iraq was playing a role. And then McNulty, after essentially, stepping on a rake, the way that he acts, the pouty way that he acts after the sheriff helps him, I didn't quite understand why he was acting like that. It's like it's almost like the guy humiliated him, even though anyway. So I just thought that was not that it's McNulty doesn't need to get taken down a notch every now and again, but it was. I didn't quite follow why he was. I
agree.
So
that was kind of weird
that.
To see him get so moody about because his assumptions were wrong.
Yeah,
the guy's not a racist after all.
Yeah,
I mean, yay, right?
or perhaps he was just playing the role. I guess if he was playing the role still, he's like, oh, can't believe this, and then But anyway, I don't know. Up to your interpretation, I suppose. So, all right.
Agreed.
That's all I've got.
Okay. Well, McNulty and Greggs are sharing a motel room that night, and Kima says, she can't wait to get out of it. It makes her sad. McNulty tells her that he spent half of his marriage in motel rooms like this. Kima asks him how he could cheat on his wife so often, and he says it was easy, and tells her that his partner would cover for him by saying he caught a late night case. Greggs also shares that Cheryl took her back.
Mhm.
She ate shit and has been welcomed back.
Mhm.
She complains that the bed doesn't even have a quarter box for magic fingers. And McNulty offers to be the magic fingers.
Yeah.
He's such a hoe.
Oh my God.
He is such a hoe.
Yeah.
As soon as the sun comes up, we grab that damn tape and go. This place makes me want to cry.
Hey, I spent half my marriage in rooms like this.
How could you do it?
What?
Go nonstop hound on your ex like that.
It's easy. Just tell her I was on the road working on extradition. Lots of extraditions. Brought back something like 500 fugitives in a 3-year period, I think.
That's not what I meant.
Right. So, you're back in the house, huh?
Ate some shit and she took me back, yeah. I ain't sure I even want to be back, though. Extraditions, huh? Sure, we'll see right through that shit.
Nah, it's easy. Just keep your cell off, make sure she can reach your partner. Partner tells her Kima's in court or whatever. Partner calls you in the motel, gives you the heads up. You call her back later like, hey, what's up?
Ain't even got a porta box for magic fingers.
Maybe you don't need a porta box for that.
For what?
Magic fingers. You know me.
Did you ever see, though, a magic fingers bed? I remember when I was really little and we were moving from New York to Washington State and like staying in motels. And
Okay.
I can remember a coin operated.
Really?
Like, they were really called magic fingers. Isn't that terrible? Like nowadays it just feels so dirty.
Yeah.
But yes.
I don't think I ever saw one in person.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yes. If anybody doesn't know what that means, if you're too young to have ever seen it or like know the reference, it's like a coin operated vibrating bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I recommend watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles if you want.
Oh, there you go. That's
Contemporaneous
right. Yes.
reference. So,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny too because it's not like a massage. I don't know
No.
what the appeal was.
I don't know, but now people are all into vibrating plates and shit like that.
Yeah.
Maybe there is something
Sure.
to it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, Greggs and McNulty come back to the unit the next day with the tape. And there's Fitzhugh, and he's installing some new equipment with Freeman and Prez. McNulty goes off to make a call. Kima lets Daniels know that he is calling Brianna.
Mhm.
Daniels looks a bit surprised. We'll get more on that phone call and what comes out of that later. They look at the tape, and Prez is such a weirdo, such a nerd. He's has so much fun zooming in onto the license plate and getting Bernard's plate number. But yeah, it's kind of funny because they all just acknowledge his dorkiness to each other.
Yep.
So yeah, they've got the plates for Bernard.
Yep.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, not much to it.
Okay, let me see here. McNulty meets with Brianna. Brianna says, you went to visit Donette and you told her Dee's death wasn't a suicide. He says, yeah, not with the belt that he used. She says no one would have dared to kill Dee, given that his uncle Avon was there. And then McNulty implies that, nobody but Avon, right? Like that it was family that did it. He further shows that D'Angelo's murder must have been planned because otherwise it would have been a swift shank.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it goes typically in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He makes her feel super guilty by saying that this whole thing is pointless anyways because no one cares enough to look into it further. Even she doesn't care because she's the one that convinced D'Angelo not to turn on Avon. Ooh, man, it is just... Talking about shanks, he is just twisting that knife.
Mm-hmm.
She is looking incredibly affected by this. She asks him, why didn't you come to me first? And he tells her, I was looking for somebody who cared about the kid. I mean, like I said, you were the one who made him take the years, right? And they go to her face and her eyes are welling up with tears. He leaves and she's just shattered.
Yeah.
Shattered by that.
I called because I heard you went and visited Donette. Told him my son's death couldn't have been no suicide. Is that right?
I did do that.
D'Angelo hung himself.
Not with the belt they found around his neck. Not at that distance between the doorknob and the floor.
So what are you saying?
What am I saying?
No. Nobody would have dared. My brother, his uncle, would have...
I agree with you. Nobody would have dared. Unless...
Avon and Dee was family.
Family, right.
This is just you talking, right? I mean, anyone else saying it?
No, it's just me. No one else cares.
Right.
It's just, I don't know, on the inside. Somebody's going after you. He's got a beef, sees red, they use a shank. It's quick and it's over. D'Angelo was strangled, which is planned. You need the time, you need the isolation. Look, I'm just sorry I brought this whole mess up to begin with, because frankly, no one's gonna do shit about it anyhow. Whoever killed him wanted to pass it off as a suicide, but cops are happy enough to have one less murder to investigate. On top of that, the Anne Arundel State's attorney doesn't give a fuck. I'm not supposed to give a fuck, so... Guess your son just got squeezed between the sides.
Squeezed between what sides?
Look, 2 years ago, we hung more wire on your brother's crew than AT&T. And at the end, D'Angelo was this close to flipping, giving up everybody, everything. You know all that, right? You were the one who went down that detention center and talked your son out of a deal. I kind of liked your son, you know? All things considered, he was a pretty decent kid. And it grinds me that no one ever spoke up for him. Seems to me that nobody ever will. But mostly at this point, I'm sorry I bothered his girl. And I'm sorry she bothered you.
Why go to her? Why not come to me first?
Honestly? I was looking for somebody who cared about the kid. I mean, like I said, you were the one who made him take the years, right?
Such a good scene.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about this today. I don't want to make light of the moment, but I was like, if McNulty had left his gun on the table, she like after that
for sure,
gut punch,
dude. Yeah, man.
So
yeah,
all right,
he
so
said it's your fault that your boy died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And he did it in a real cutting way.
Oh my god. So all right, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on this because for a couple of reasons. So you do not have the context for the whole series, but nevertheless, to me, this feels like when you look back at the entire series to this point, it feels very much like a peak of a lot of things coming together. Right.
Oh,
this is
okay.
essentially. I'm not giving it anyway. I promise. But this just. I guess it feels like the end of D'Angelo's arc.
Okay.
If you think about it, right?
Yeah,
Like he's been dead for a season,
right?
And yet this is kind of the last part of his of his character arc, and so there's that part of it, and the fact that it happens kind of in this still relatively in the middle of this season.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels like there's just feels like there's a ton of power to it.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. And then, let's see, should I bring this up? I'll mention Alan Sepinwall's comment now before I get into kind of my own take on it. But he says, Michael Hyatt's searing performance as Brianna shows just how much guilt she deservedly feels for choosing business over her son and provides a cathartic moment for all of us who came to care about D'Angelo and to feel betrayed by what happened to him. So, I mean, and of course, as you commented, like the way that she responds to McNulty is, I mean, it just, you feel every little bit of emotion that she has. So I mentioned it as kind of say this is one of my quote unquote favorite scenes because it's so dark. It's really so dark.
Yes.
And yet it's so like well acted, so well written.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the last thing I want to just mention is that there's not really a lot of dialogue given how long the scene is. There's not a ton of dialogue, number one, and number two, the way that the actors play it, it's really fascinating because so you have Dominic West, who has essentially all the facts. He doesn't know who killed D'Angelo exactly. He doesn't actually have a name or a suspect, but he knows that there was only one way it could have happened. Right. Now he, we as the universal or the omniscient viewer know that he's got the kind of the orchestrator incorrect.
Yeah.
But he's not off by much. Right. It's only Stringer that put it together.
Yeah.
Right. And so had Stringer not been close to Avon, then it wouldn't have come together the way that it did. So McNulty has all the facts.
Right.
And yet he also knows kind of, unlike his pursuit of or maybe it's like his pursuit of the Jane Doe in season 2, where he just kind of accepts that he can't find justice for the woman. That's where he is now, where he's like, I know everything that happened. I have all this information, but nobody cares, and I'm not going to find justice for D'Angelo.
Yeah.
And this is the way that he's talking about the situation, right?
Yeah.
So that's his approach to the scene. Meanwhile, you have Michael Hyatt, Brianna, she has been trying to deny. She's not that she's been trying to deny it, but or maybe it's like she didn't want. I think she didn't want to accept that D'Angelo killed himself.
Yeah.
And yet here is McNulty presenting her with an alternate theory, and she doesn't want to accept that.
Oh no!
And so
in this alternate theory, she's culpable.
Right. Well, I mean, yes and no, right? Because if he had killed himself, then she would have been responsible,
right?
And that if he is murdered, then she is in a way like taken off the hook. Now, of course, like McNulty doesn't let her off the hook.
Yeah, because Dee wanted to be, like, that's what she tells him, like, Dee wanted to be free of this. He was ready to turn, and you made him take the years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's, and I think that, and then, of course, like, the last bit of it is, like, and I just have to comment specifically about her performance. There are some moments when her voice, like, wavers, not cracks exactly. It's just like, how the hell does somebody do that as an actor?
Right.
Like,
I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
Like, it's just incredible performance.
Yeah.
And I just, the way that the two play off each other really just, it's just an incredible scene. And I just hold it up as, I love the fuck scene from season 1.
Yeah, fuck scene's great.
It's just hilarious. But this is one where it's like just the writing, the acting, and there's not feels like a single word wasted, except it still bugs me, the hung more wire on your brother's crew than AT&T. That line still kind of drives me nuts. But of the entire scene, every other word is just perfect. Yeah. And I've been waiting for this scene for this whole podcast because it's to me it's just so great, and it feels like such a culmination of what we have been watching so far. And now, of course, with the end of this episode, now we're really seeing like, okay, what's actually, how is this all going to play a role and things like that. So it's really, I'm sorry, I just had to go on for a little bit because this is just, the scene just kills me every time. So I think that's it. And just the Michael Hyatt's tears at the end. How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you conjure that presentation of despair?
She does,
and
like,
sadness?
she goes, when you talk about her voice, I mean, she goes from indignant to vulnerable so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing, all those emotions in that one scene. So
And then, and of course, like, McNulty's kind of disgust at her.
Yeah.
I mean, it is fascinating because I think that, for him, he suspects that it was Avon.
Right.
And he then assumes that Brianna, must have known what was happening.
Right.
And so he's just disgusted at them in general. And he's like, I don't care about your tears. And so he's just going to, twist that knife, as you said. And so it's just like, God, what a gut punch.
Oof.
That whole scene is.
That
It's
is.
just crazy. So anyway. All right.
Okay.
Hopefully I said everything I wanted to say. I'm going to come back like a week later and be like, oh, damn it, I wanted to say this too. But no, great stuff.
Well, the last thing to finish out the major case unit here and tracking the track phones, Greggs and Prez, they do find out that, despite the fact that they're changing the phones a lot, they are using the same rental agency.
Yeah.
And so they find out that Bernard gets a car every couple of weeks from this place to collect the burners. And so they've got another beat.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to Omar. Omar, Kimmy, and there's not a lot here, but Omar, Kimmy, and Dante have successfully robbed some dealers on the east side. Done very well there. And then I think Dante takes Omar to the west side.
Mm-hmm.
They go through Hamsterdam. Dante says, look at this. This is perfect for the taking. Like, nobody has any muscle. Nobody has no whistles.
Yeah.
But Omar says it's too good to be true. This is a setup. He says there's probably police behind those boarded windows. And he says there's no way he's going to try to hold up some dealers there. He says, home, James. And we're going to wind up in the pokey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like Dante's probably going to do something rash and stupid in this area.
Okay.
It's not going to turn out well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's it for that one.
Yep.
Shall I move on?
I love the term pokey.
Pokey.
Definitely use that if you can.
All right, just don't go there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what's happening with the Chump Brothers, Barksdale organization. Okay, Avon and Slim Charles, we see they're paying their respects to, I guess it was Rico, who was murdered by Snoop in the last episode. Slim comments that he do look natural.
Yep.
Avon is mad. He says, we gonna have to get deep, whatever that means. We will find out. Meanwhile, Stringer is going off on Clay Davis about the lack of progress in his developments and the increasing lightness of his wallet. Davis tries to put Stringer at ease. He tells him, the inspectors are coming soon. Don't worry now. You're a minority contractor. Yes, you are going to supply light bulbs for the Baltimore Board of Education. Stringer says, basically, I'm not in the light bulb business. And Davis tells him, you just need to be able to write it on your letterhead. A white guy's going to do all the work, and you are just the black guy on the cover that lets him get an empowerment grant. And he tells him that in 3 years, they're going to be operating at a federal level, going for the HUD money, the HUD money, but that he's not ready now. He's got too much street mentality still, and Stringer disagrees. And this is where we get that epigraph, the crawl, walk, and run of it all.
I mean, it feels like ain't shit changed except for a growing lightness in my wallet. Where's my letter of approval, man, from the preservation motherfuckers? My right-of-way agreement, my sign-offs?
Hold on. Everything's right around the corner. We got both the plumbing and the electrical inspectors on for tomorrow. Tuesday, the fire department's coming out, and that should do it, Strain. You'll be on your way. And by the way, congratulations. You are now minority contractor for light bulb supply to the Board of Education, City of Baltimore.
What the fuck I know about light bulbs, man?
Do you know how to put the words on a B&B letterhead? Come on, man, relax. White guy's doing all the work. You're just his beard for the empowerment grant. That's an extra 5 G's a month for just laying in the cut. See how it worked? I'm gonna bring you along, Strang, but it ain't gonna be an overnight thing. We spend this year dealing with the city, the next doing business with the state. However, year 3, then we go for the gold. Then we go federal. Then we see the man with his hand on the faucet.
What faucet?
The HUD faucet. The money faucet.
Look, man, I don't know why we gotta wait 3 years for that shit. I'm ready to run now.
No, you're not. I mean, forgive me, but you still showing a little bit of that street corner mentality. Bugging about every dime you spend, about the permits, about setting up a PAC, about dropping cash in the re-election war chest. Which, by the way, is how I get my gravy. Look, it takes money to make money, Strang. Otherwise, hell, every pauper be a king.
You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to run now.
3 years. Crawl, walk, and then run.
This was interesting to me because, I don't know, do you remember when the Seattle School Board had that financial mismanagement scandal?
Not really.
Okay, so it was in 2011, and what they found out was that, auditors found that the district spent $1.5 million on services with a, quote, questionable public purpose, and another $280,000 for services it didn't receive, which benefited a private company. In total, it was $1.8 million in losses. And the whole thing, the scandal was all around this guy, Silas Potter Jr., who was accused of using a dummy company to bill the school district for non-existent work. He was charged and later pleaded guilty to 36 counts of theft and stealing from the program.
Wow.
So, yeah, like this shit really happens, you know? Anyhow, sorry. It just made me think of that. I was remembering that huge scandal for the Seattle Public School District when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that this is, like, they're not doing anything fraudulent here, I don't think. But he's just getting it's for his own benefit, essentially, to charge a little bit more for whatever.
I know, but it's just like the working around, and it's not his business, right? Like, he's just, like, somebody else is a white person, and he wants to get, it sounds like, to me, a grant that is intended for diverse business owners. An empowerment grant is what I'm getting at, right? So isn't that like when you're, like, faking to be somebody else? What's that called? Fraud. Yes. Impersonation, yeah.
Is that what? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I misread what that was about. So I don't know.
I think it's bad stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so back at the funeral. Oh wait, sir. Yeah, back at the funeral home. Well, Barksdale Central. Avon tells Slim Charles that they're going to have to get to Marlo using Devon.
Yep.
Okay, and that for Omar they're going to use Trina, who is a contact in social services. Trina with big ass, I think is what they said, thinking that one of Omar's relatives is probably getting federal assistance. Slim Charles asks, should we really be trying to take out Omar and Marlo at the same time? But Avon reassures him that he's back and he can handle it. And then String comes back in and, Avon's like, oh yeah, you taking care of business? I'm taking care of business too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that line... taking care of business string, like, just, there's a lot of tension in there.
There's a lot of tension in there.
Yeah.
It's a loaded phrase.
Yeah. And then, of course, not to hit it too hard, but Omar and Marlo, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
2 fronts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, Stringer checks in with Krawcheck at his development, and they see Chunky Coates down the road. And we find out Chunky is another property developer who was super small time until he started working with Clay Davis. So next time that we see Stringer, he is back in Davis's office. He tells him, when I say I'm ready, you best believe it. So Stringer's ready to play ball.
Yeah. I looked up Chunky Coates.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of fashion sites came up, so I kind of gave up quickly.
Okay.
So Chunky, unfortunately, has taken
did
on
you try
anything.
Coates?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, well,
So
that
maybe
might
that's-
have been.
It'd be like,
I
did
don't
you
know.
mean
Yes,
Coats?
that
No,
is
I
what
did
would
not.
say.
Thank you, Google. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so yeah, but it's interesting to, how Stringer responds to that little comment from Andy Krawcheck. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, Shamrock goes to visit Trina, who is definitely his type. Social services. She doesn't look like she's really into him, though.
No.
They're exchanging a bribe for info on Omar Little. And they get the file. We see Omar's little boy photo.
Yep.
So cute, that smile. Oh, my goodness. And with that, they find out that Omar's grandma, Miss Omar, Sapper calls her, still lives at the same house. They see her walking up. And Slim Charles then takes Sapper and Gerard to stake out the house until Omar shows up, I guess. And Sapper's like, wait on what? Oh, he's just not very bright, that Sapper.
Yeah.
He's going to get himself killed eventually. It's going to be all his own fault.
Yo, that's Miss Omar?
Yeah, it's grandma's.
So what, we jack her and make her talk?
Fool, she probably got no clue where he lay his head.
I mean, we sit and we wait, right?
Man, wait on what?
Yeah, Gerard is becoming kind of a favorite for me.
Yeah.
Like, just the way, the number of times he just shakes his head and, like, sapper comments. So good.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, Davis takes Stringer to meet a contact who, I mean, it's a federal building, so this guy must be involved in federal funding. He is called the Golden Goose, the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Mm-hmm.
He tells Davis, like, I don't know this Russell Bell. Forget it. I'm not working with him. You work with him or whatever. Davis goes to talk to him on the side. He's like, wait a minute, partner. And, we don't hear what Davis says to this guy, but when he comes back, he tells Stringer that they are on.
Mm-hmm.
So looks like Stringer is up for running.
Yep.
Automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Brianna visits the funeral home. She's looking for Avon. She only finds Stringer there. Stringer says, Avon's preparing for war right now. And then when he finds out that Brianna is there because of the cop, McNulty, he tries to convince her that McNulty's just trying to drive a wedge through the family. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to listen to there.
Mm-hmm.
But she wants to talk to Avon.
Who's my brother?
Shut the door, man. Yo, we at war right now, sis, so you on that.
I need to get with him.
Well, he ain't on the cell phone. As soon as I speak to him, I'll get it to you, all right?
Shit. Heard from this cop. He's saying Dee was murdered.
Oh, that'll be McNulty.
How you know?
Well, Levy figured he couldn't talk you out to me, but I sure wish he tried.
I need to get with my brother.
Oh, come on. This fucking cop. He trying to drive a wedge up in here, man. You can't see it? Look, I can imagine how hard it is for a mother to have to deal with some shit like that, no doubt. But the fact is, these places, they press on niggas. He just figured a way to get out of there early. Ain't nothing nobody can do about that. I mean, how you protect a man from himself?
Where Avon at? I'll go to him.
I told you, we beefing for corners right now. As soon as I speak to him, I'll get him to you, I promise. Cops shouldn't mess with a mother's pain like that.
No one should.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Yeah, that scene. Sorry, were you?
Nope.
You were gonna move on.
I can stop.
I mean, no, that scene that scene is just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it just the way that Brianna is just so fixated on talking to Avon.
Yes.
And Stringer's trying to talk her down.
And he changes on a dime too. The minute that he realizes she's there to talk about the McNulty situation, he's like, he's just trying to, drive a wedge. He has a vendetta against his family, basically. Yeah. He switches it up so fast.
Yeah, but she is not.
Oh no, she's not convinced.
Nothing is appealing to her.
No.
So and that is another scene where it just. I mean, it really sets up like that final scene because I feel like Stringer's starting to feel like more powerless. He's like. And so he responds by bribing, giving Davis the money and but he's still like kind of ineffective in this other way. So it's just really kind of fascinating, his journey in this particular episode.
Yep. Well, let's finish up with Davis and Stringer before we get into all the other good stuff that's going on here. Mm-hmm. Davis comes by to talk to Stringer, and Stringer gives him a briefcase full of cash. It's a lot of cash. He says, this better work. And, I better see some results from this. Davis is like, see, you're not ready.
Yeah.
Because you want to be accountable with your money. You're somehow not ready because of that.
Yep.
And Stringer says, let's go. I'm ready for this shit. And then that's the moment that some other news comes from Shamrock, which we will soon be getting into.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into some Stanfield stuff here. So Marlo's at the club. He sees a pretty girl. She keeps on looking at him. He comes up and talks to her. She likes his cat eyes. What kind of cat? He wants to know who she's with. He tells her that he doesn't drink or dance. What does he do? Apparently, he has sex with girls in his car.
Yeah.
because he walks out with her, and then Partlow follows him like a goddamn silent specter. It's so
Right.
freaky the way Partlow just silently walks after them.
Yeah.
After they do their business out in the SUV, she says, "That was nice." I'm not sure how that could have been nice. Like, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross. He tosses his condom out the window, and she convinces him to meet her again the following day. I think she says at her mom's place. And she says, too, it's got to be tomorrow because she is going to Florida right after that.
Hmm?
And then she's about to leave. And then he asks for her name again because he forgot it.
Right.
And her name is Devon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Devon. That's the one he got to work on the Marlowe situation. Avon did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, I mentioned before, at least once, that this was the first season I ever watched of The Wire.
Yeah.
And, I was, completely confused by what's happening. Because Avon says, get Devon on it.
Get Devon on it.
And then...
yeah.
He says, what was it again? Devon. And
Devon.
and if you're not paying attention,
yeah.
you missed either one. You're
Yes.
like, who the hell? Wait,
Yeah,
what's that?
I
What's
only
happening?
caught it on the second
Just random
watch.
people. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. It's just, that's just one of those things. Just a reminder, in case you didn't know, 3 seasons in, that you have to pay attention to everything.
You have to pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, kudos to Marlo.
Yeah.
Using a condom.
Yeah,
Good
thank
job.
you.
Good job.
Thank you for
or maybe it was
protecting
Devon's.
yourself. Or,
Devon
yeah.
insisted on it. Either way,
Maybe.
make sure that a condom is
safe.
being used.
Be safe.
Buddy of mine, a single friend, said, chances of you asking a woman to have sex, you probably actually have a 50% chance. You just have to be willing to be turned down. Which a lot of guys don't want to do that. So it's just kind of funny. So anyway, but it's Marlo's in the club. Doesn't drink, doesn't dance.
What is he doing
What
there?
are you doing there?
Sitting by himself.
Yeah, it's just
It's
weird.
so weird.
Yeah. Anyway, and then I don't know if I'm Chris and I'm just gonna be I gotta be outside the car while this guy's having sex. That would be a little weird, but
super weird.
Anyway,
well, okay. Marlo's talking to Devon on the phone. They are arranging their next sexual escapade, I guess. And he tells her that he'll meet her at Lake Trout. It's a carry-out restaurant. And that from there he will tell her which motel to go to. And then later he says, you got to be here right at this time. 5 minutes after I'm gone. After the call, he asks Partlow what he thinks about it. So you can tell Marlo feels just very suspicious about this whole thing. And he's being very, very careful. Okay, later we see Snoop sitting in the restaurant, Lake Trout. It looks like she's eating ribs or something like that.
Yeah.
So cute. And then she's watching as this Barksdale guy comes in to get some carry-out food. He takes it to his SUV. She recognizes him. She looks at the SUV. She thinks this is a Barksdale guy. And then Snoop goes out. She goes around to a car that's parked on the side of the building. There's Partlow in it. And she says this guy ordered 4 sandwiches and a soda and 4 sodas. If they don't leave soon, then they are on to... Oh, Partlow says if those guys don't leave soon, then we're on to something. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I keep going?
No, I'll just mention a couple of things. So, first thing I want to mention is when Marlo is on the phone with Devon, it starts up as a close-up on him.
Yeah.
And then they pull back, and Partlow is just standing almost towering in a way, over Marlo.
Yes, he's like a specter, dude.
Which I just love that. I love that move. And then he moves across the camera.
Yes. The way that he is portrayed and the way that he acts in this, he is just like this silent sentinel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just love that. I just love that shot. It's just so
good.
Great. And then, again, he's taking up a third of the screen and he's just standing there just staring out.
Oh, he's scary.
Anyway, so there's that. And then of course, you're watching this just the Snoop monitoring. I was like, that is a lot of effort just to get laid.
I know.
That's it's a lot of work. So did he do that every time he wanted to get laid, or was this his first
wonder.
time? So, but I guess you have to have. It's kind of like what she said to Omar last time. It's like if you couldn't read lying eyes by now, I'd be talking to a dead man. And so I get the sense that you live on the street and you just get this sense of, I think this might be trouble.
Right.
And so I've got to put in extra work to make it
Avon
safe.
had that level of paranoia in the
true.
first season.
That's true.
We haven't seen that from him
yeah,
again.
Yeah. That's fascinating. That's a great point. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, well, let's see here. Hartlow sees Devon walk past the black SUV. She looks back at it. The window rolls down. Something gets thrown out.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it a condom?
No.
Okay.
Why don't you finish and then
Okay,
we'll...
so he says, roll up slow, and then Partlow fires into the SUV. He wounds Avon. The guy beside him, I later is Tater.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Mhm.
He's dead.
Mhm.
The driver's is okay, and they drive out of there.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay.
I have a hard time understanding what happened because it didn't
Yeah.
look like she was in the SUV.
No.
So she walks past, she looks, and then I can't tell what's going on there.
No, so I actually had a whole debate,
Okay.
or not debate. I asked this question specifically on the Wire subreddit because I wanted to make sure I got it right. So, because at first I thought that first time I saw it, I think maybe the first second time, I thought it was a cell phone
burner phone,
that got
okay.
thrown out because it was like, okay, Devon's here.
Yeah.
Guys, get ready,
Right.
and he calls and then he tosses the phone, but it's just a sandwich wrapper. So. My understanding, anyway, and I think most people agreed with this, is that basically it indicates that the guy bought the sandwiches and they ate them in the car, and then I don't know why he threw it out when Devon walked by, but by seeing the wrapper go out, it told Chris that I told him enough.
Yeah,
Not
they're
that he
here
knew
waiting
for sure.
something,
Exactly. They're
yeah.
waiting. They just sat.
Why
got
would they
sandwiches.
just sit and eat in the parking lot outside of the lake shop?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they threw the wrapper out, and I
Okay.
told him enough that was
Okay.
it. So,
All right. I wondered. Okay.
Yep.
I see. Okay. Well, let's see here. Shamrock tells Stringer that this is after Stringer was talking to Clay Davis.
Mhm.
We're back up to this point. He tells Stringer Avon's been hit. Brianna's been calling, looking for Avon. Stringer tells him keep Brianna away from Avon. Keep Brianna away from him.
Mhm.
And then Slim Charles takes Avon to, is it a veterinarian?
Yeah.
They takes him to get stitched up.
Yep.
And yeah, so he's been injured in the shoulder, but he is doing okay, and he's super mad now. They meet with Shamrock, Slim Charles, and some other guy. I wasn't sure who the other guy was.
Okay.
And they tell him they're going to wait out Marlowe, forcing him to go back to the corners to sell drugs. And then Stringer interrupts the meeting, and he's put off by Avon. I don't know. Did you want to say anything before I go into
Keep
this
going,
whole
keep
final
going.
scene?
Yeah.
Okay. So finally, he gets a chance to talk to Avon, and, Avon's talking about going to war. He's like, oh my God, we were supposed to be past all this bullshit. And Avon says, oh yeah, we're like, Trump Towers or whatever. But he tells him like that I bleed red and you bleed green.
Mhm.
That's the problem with you.
Mhm.
And that he's not hard enough for the streets. And Stringer says, oh, just because I think before taking a life, that means I'm not hard. And Stringer tells him, Brianna had a meeting with McNulty, and he's saying that Dee's death was not a suicide. And then he says, the man ain't wrong about that.
Oof.
Yeah, that was just like this moment, right? I did not think that he was going
Really?
to reveal that then. I
Okay.
just did not think that, no.
Sure.
And he says to him, there go a life that had to be snatched. Avon attacks him, but Stringer overpowers Avon. Avon's wounded, of course. Takes him to the ground, is on top of him. He tells him that he did it for him to protect him from Dee turning against him. Avon and Brianna would never do what he had to do.
Mhm.
And he's got Avon in pain on the ground, yelling at him. And Avon is kind of still, and he asks quietly to be let up.
Mhm.
He says, let me up. Let me up. And then Stringer lets Avon up from the ground, and Avon walks away. He sits down on a bed, and he's speechless. And the final scene is like he's sitting on the bed, and Stringer's standing, and it's like this power dynamic.
Yeah.
This shift is so visual.
Mhm.
So that was just a cool, wow, that was a scene to end on. Whew.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I loved that scene so much.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Straight to the mattresses, huh?
Whatever, what you want, man?
War, man, we passed this bullshit.
Yeah, I forgot. I knew I forgot something. We the Trump Brothers.
Man, you don't get this shit up? We're gonna turn everything we built to shit.
No. The Chump Brothers. You know what the difference is between me and you? I bleed red. You bleed green. What you been building for us? Huh? You know what? I look at you these days, you know what I see? I see a man without a country. Not hard enough for this right here. And maybe, just maybe, not smart enough for them out there.
Not hard enough.
No offense. I don't think you ever really were. And you got skills, yeah, no doubt, but
what? What, because I don't shoot up a block indiscriminate? I ain't hard enough? Huh? Because I think before I snatch a life, I ain't in this bullshit.
Snatch a life? What life you snatch, huh?
You know, Brianna went downtown, man, saw that detective. Man stoking her head saying that D'Angelo's death is no suicide.
Yeah, so?
Man ain't wrong about that.
What?
Man. Knew you couldn't do it. Brianna wouldn't do that shit. But there you go, a life that had to be snatched, Avon.
Yo, man, I took that shit off you, put it on me, man, because that motherfucker was out of pocket with that shit. 20 years above his fucking head. He flipped, man. They got you, me, and fucking Brianna. No fucking way, man. Hell no. Now, I know you that's family. You love that nigga, but you want to talk that blood is thicker than water bullshit. Take that shit somewhere else, nigga. That motherfucker would have taken down the whole fucking show starting with you, killer. It's fucking everything and everybody.
Any, I mean, you want to go on into, like, any specifics about what you liked about it?
I love that Stringer just took him down like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that it went to blows like that. It had to go to blows eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, you know, Avon had this moment where he had to eat shit.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't expect the reveal. I did not think Stringer would be the one to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. I just thought that Avon would find out some other way, or Brianna would call Stringer out on it, or something like that. I did not think that Stringer was going to own up to it on his own. So, and it's all in this kind of like dingy, dark, you know, back room thing going on. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And then you mentioned about the power dynamic. Is it just so Stringer standing and Avon
at
sitting?
That end,
you felt like,
like who is it that walks off and sits down? It's Avon. Yeah. Avon gets up. You know, he skulks off, kind of, you know, like a wounded animal, and then he sits down, and then that you know, when you look at that final scene, Stringer is up. He's kind of leaned forward in the direction of Avon, and he looks big. He looks like a bear, you know, and Avon looks like a wounded animal sitting down, holding his shoulder, kind of looking over at Stringer. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All well said. I just wanted to make sure you had a chance to explain like the things about the scene that you liked before I went on for another tirade. But one thing that I did want to mention that that Ed Burns talked about the scene in All the Pieces Matter. He said when Idris and Wood, when those two were fighting in that room, they thought that the furniture was break apart furniture because they smashed into the table and just shattered
Ouch.
it.
Oh my gosh.
So they thought that it could just be put back together. That's how intense they were in this particular scene. So I imagine that's what you're responding to.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
and they were like, no, that was actually a table. So, but yeah, so the thing that I wanted to just mention a little bit is like, you know, Avon comes home from prison and he's got this beautiful condo.
Yes.
Stocked with two women.
Yes.
As we talk. Just
Lincoln,
hanging out.
whatever,
Lincoln
Navigator.
And you're like, why? What is his motivation? You know, what is the motivation that we've seen for the last 2 episodes, essentially? Yeah. Why are you doing this? And he's been shot in the shoulder. And you said he's mad, and I'm like, I'm not sure that he's mad. He's like energized.
Yeah.
And so it's just
right.
it's a fascinating, you know, characteristic of
he's
just like
rage motivated.
Exactly. He's like, since I'm not I haven't been able to reestablish essentially my dominance, and
Right.
that's what this whole thing is. And
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
as you mentioned, he's not paranoid. He is like just I've got it all figured out. I've got in a way that like kind of the same way that Stringer was like, I got this all figured out, and I'm going to have the right plan in place to take care of this potential security risk, and and he can't see further down the road than a couple of feet or whatever. And when you think about Avon's plan to get Marlowe, you think, oh, well, I'm thinking a couple of steps ahead, and he didn't even bother, he couldn't think of maybe Marlowe would anticipate me, and even like at the beginning of was it the beginning of the episode it was the beginning of last episode where he's like, I was starting to respect the guy, and now he doesn't because Marlowe backed off, not realizing that, and he still didn't learn that, Marlowe has figured this out, or he's thinking a couple of moves ahead, and Avon can't see it. And so it's it's a fascinating exploration into his character of like what is motivating, why is he so like kind of what's the first dimensional, one dimensional,
Right.
where he's just like, okay, I'm going to go do this. Okay, let's try this, which has worked in the past, and not sort of anticipating the chess moves essentially. So he's not playing. He's he's not playing chess anymore.
No,
so,
no. He's stuck in a rut.
Yeah, and as you said, like 100%. Like going back to that episode in season 1 where he's like, I used this phone yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like I'm going to sit outside the place where we're setting up this drive-by. And why does he even need to be there?
Right.
Why does he need to be there? He just sets up the thing. So anyway, so it's a really interesting look at him and what he's kind of, essentially kind of like his myopia has really cost him a lot. So,
Yeah.
And then, and then there's the other part of it, which is, so he wants to hurt Stringer, right? He's by saying, I see a man without a country, and he's, insulting Stringer.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we ever saw before.
No.
Right?
No, for sure not.
And so that part's, to me, a little curious. Like, is it because...
I mean, he's noted the differences between them before, right? Like we heard about, like, oh, you wanted to open some grocery stores.
Right.
And I'm a warrior, whatever.
Yeah.
But, this is the first time that he's used those differences as insults.
Yeah, yeah. So, and of course, like, the betrayal for, that's like, that comment, cuts to the core for Stringer, right? Like, we're brothers, and yet you're treating me this way. Like, of course, so he hits back exactly the same, in kind, essentially. So it's this is just a terrific episode overall. And,
it is. It's great.
Yeah. So obviously I'm excited for you to see where the rest of the season goes. So,
Ooh, I'm excited.
I think that is everything that I had. So I did, if you don't mind, that's the end of it. That's
it.
You're done. Okay.
That's the end.
Okay. A couple of little notes.
Okay.
So the woman running the needle exchange program in Hamsterdam her name is Fran Boyd.
Okay.
And she was one of the central figures of Simon and Ed Burns' The Corner.
Are you talking about the one that tells the woman, oh, just bring those to the... Yeah, okay.
Yep. She was played by Candy Alexander.
Okay.
And if you know who Candy Alexander is, she's from News Radio is where I know her from, but she's been in a bunch of stuff. Okay. She is... The David Simon talked about how in the miniseries, like Candy Alexander, who is this sort of like really glamorous woman, essentially made herself very believable as someone who's living in the drug world. Okay. And so anyway, I would just recommend watching The Corner. So anyway, I don't know why that couldn't matter less, but here it is.
I see.
The woman who purchases the 8-ball, her name is Genevieve Hudson Price, and she is the daughter of Richard Price, the writer. So, and I will just give you a little hint: keep an eye on her.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for her. So.
Okay.
And then finally in Hamsterdam, one of the packages being sold is called Trump Towers. So I just thought that was, a couple of Trump mentions in the wire. So.
Yes, okay.
Okay, well, that gets us to the end of that particular category. I'm going to hit the music next. There was actually quite a lot of music in this one. Tipsy 09 by Jaquan was playing in the club. So everybody in the club getting tipsy, which I thought that has come back or something, like a country song.
Oh, yeah.
Like redid that.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of cool. So whatever. Yes, very good. That's right. Yeah,
I like
all
that
right.
song,
Thank you. Okay. Now, okay, so this one, 100% of a reach, but I got this off of Genius. So in the Lake Trout restaurant, while Snoop is sitting there, the song playing is Buffalo Soldier by Bob Marley and the
Okay.
Wailers. So Genius, the summary says, since they were renowned for the courage and discipline, the Buffalo Soldiers refer to the black soldiers in, I'm forgetting. I think it was in the 1800s, 1900s. In the West, since they were renowned for courage and discipline and, contrary to many other regiments, suffered relatively little drunkenness or desertion, Marley uses the Buffalo Soldiers' fight for survival during the Indian Wars as a symbol of black resistance and identity. At the same time, he touches upon the cruel irony of deploying one subjected people to remove another.
Okay.
And I just felt like, that's a little bit of symbolism, but you have basically like these two warring drug organizations when it's kind of like they don't really need to be fighting each other in the kind of the co-op sense of things. So thought that was kind of interesting. I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry by Hank Williams is playing when McNulty is in the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if there's more to it than that. And then The Payback by James Brown is when Bunny and the Deacon are in the pool hall. So not sure if there's any symbolism to that, but it sounds like a very pool hall kind of song.
Yes, it does.
Anyway. All right. So that was a lot of songs there. Okay. Let us get to the most exciting ones. The killer cameos. Do you have any that stand out?
Probably just the sheriff.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's who
Okay.
I want to give honorable mention to the guy who gets robbed at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But
he does a good job.
But the sheriff for sure. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we ever find out his name?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, it's not
he
Buford
will-
Pusser.
Yeah, exactly. He will forever be Buford Pusser. Okay, so let's get to the life lessons.
Okay.
Do you have any off the top of your head?
There's just too many. You go.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just want to go off what you say.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, supplement as you would. So, the first one.
Don't believe when somebody tells you that MacMan Jewelers just got robbed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's right.
That's all I got.
I mean, if something is too good to be true, probably just got it. So, never buy 4 sandwiches and eat them in the car of a parking lot where you bought them. Just as a general, just drive to a different parking lot.
Just go somewhere else.
Even if you're not up to no, even if you're not
God.
doing anything nefarious, it's, bad. That's just bad form. Okay, but but as you said, there are so many. I did, I mentioned earlier the fight or flight thing. So, we tend when we watch TV shows, I think we're in a relatively relaxed place, and so it's hard to put ourselves in a position where we understand like the stress of emotion and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it happens to us, and I just took that comment as like, if you are in a highly stressed state, it is hard to you would not be able to go to school and learn if you're in a highly stressed state.
For sure.
So have a little grace for yourself if you feel like you're struggling with your patience because you're stressed out, but also have some grace for others if you feel like they might be under stress that you don't quite appreciate.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with that.
That was a little one.
Yes.
Not the bigger one okay. The other one that I think about all the time, nothing more expensive than free.
Yeah.
There's a different line for it, but I just think about that all the time.
Yep.
And when you think, I'm going to go buy this thing for cheap, and you're like, it's like, there's that analogy of like the workman's boots or something like that, where a guy, it was from like the Depression era, where a guy could afford like $10 boots, but he had to buy them every year. Whereas if the guy who could afford the $50 boots never had to replace them, or he replaced them every 10 years or 15 years or whatever. Same kind of thing. It's like you buy cheap sometimes and you end up paying more in the long run.
Yes.
So nothing more expensive than free is to me like, you hear this all the time, or a lot these days with these free products, like Facebook or Twitter,
right.
And if you're not paying for the product, you are the product.
Yes.
So
oh my
just
gosh,
think about that.
That is so true.
Yeah, and I think I've actually thought about that a little bit because, there are, with the exception of the public library, although we pay taxes for it, I suppose.
We do.
But if you're only getting your news free, and they're like, basically journalism will then has to move to this paid. They have to pay for it somehow.
Yep.
So if you find a news source that you like and you trust, pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're just consuming your, watching TV, and you're not paying for it except through your cable provider, they are going to be doing things to get you to watch. You are the product essentially, and
that is 100% true.
So,
I totally agree with you.
Okay. Well, you got
Good one.
Okay, and then the last
Good
one.
one.
The last one
Okay.
is your man Cutty. Sorry, your man Dennis.
Dennis.
So,
Dennis.
of course, his journey is like it's very exciting to see what he's going to do. And the thing is, like, I just wrote, not this isn't exactly a word for word, but if you're not sure what to do, if you're not sure what you're looking for, go help others. Just
100%, Chris. I love that.
Okay.
Yes.
And Ellie is, I've said this before.
I love that.
She is a shining example of this.
I like
Ellie
to
helps
help
people all the time.
I do.
And in fact, her entire the books that she is writing is about helping children learn and find excitement in learning.
You know, I get paid for that.
True, but you're inspired in helping people, the helping work that you do already.
I try.
And you were a teacher before, so it was all about, like, your entire life is essentially about building and helping people. So.
I like helping people.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I think that it really can help you find meaning and passion and whatever. Like, you find something, like Cutty says, you got to find something outside yourself, right?
Right.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good.
Good ones.
All right. Well,
I'm never going to come up with any life lessons because yours are really good. I like to agree with you.
I'm glad you said that because I just like Ellie's just like, yes, I know. I already learned this. I mean, you're living this life already. Here I am saying, well, see, I'm just going to write this down.
I like hearing it justified, though.
All right. Well, very good. Okay. Fine. Good enough then.
It's very validating.
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, that is that. So yeah, not a lot of question about how the episode held up. So let us get to your predictions.
Okay.
Ellie Peterson,
All right,
what do you think is
taking
going to
some
happen?
little notes here. All right, Carcetti, I don't really have a lot around him. I think, he's getting schooled. I think he is going to have this kind of breakout moment where he shows himself as this very compassionate leader. I'm not sure how that comes about, but I think we'll see that in the next episode.
Okay.
I think Colicchio's going to go to Burrell. I think he's going to, even somebody said it, like somebody ought to give a dime to the brass, or I can't remember how he said it.
Drop a dime.
Drop a dime, And so I think that Colicchio is going to be the one, and I think he's going to do it to the next episode. Yeah, would he go straight up? Yeah, I think he's going to go straight to the top. I think he's going to go to Burrell. Okay. With the Trac phones, I think they're going to find Bernard. And bring him in and question him. Okay. Let me see here. I think Dante is going to try to go after to do a job in Hamsterdam on his own.
Okay.
To prove something. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove.
I like your read on that. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but we didn't really talk about that too much about Dante being.
We did not.
It seems like Omar is kind of not treating him.
He is kind of home, James. You say that's your partner.
Yeah.
But that's not okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you don't say that. You don't say that.
It's a good thing.
Oh my God.
Just got to remember not to say that.
Do
if I'm
not
ever
say
a
that to
passenger
your
in LA.
wife.
Yeah.
If my husband never said that to me, I would never say that to my husband. I mean, maybe I'd be like really jokey about it, but I would definitely that's not very jokey how he did it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Oh man, I don't know about Avon, Brianna, Stringer. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to go on here. I feel really clueless about this whole thing because now, Avon's got to do something to come after Marlowe now. He's not going to listen to Stringer's advice about it. Is he going to push Stringer out? Is he going to tell Brianna about what Stringer told him? I just don't know.
Okay.
Let me take a stab.
Okay.
I'm going to take a stab in the dark.
Okay,
Let's see
for
here.
it.
I'm going to say Avon's going to keep the secret, but he is going to work on pushing Stringer out somehow.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to murder him.
Okay.
But I think he's going to try to push Stringer away.
Okay.
Some more.
Okay.
But he's not going to tell Brianna. Okay.
And then you mentioned he's going to have to go after Marlowe. Any specifics about that?
Yeah. Well, let me think about this here. I feel like Marlowe's not done going after Avon. I feel like maybe, Because Avon, he's got no beat on Marlowe, Snoop, or Partlow. He's got nothing. Nothing on them. So I just don't see how he's going to be able to go after them in any way. Nothing he's done has worked so far. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, yeah.
That's fine. No problem.
I don't know. I mean, if anything, I see Marlowe taking out another Barksdale guy in the next episode. I mean, he's like, what is he, like one per episode now, at least?
Yeah, he's got a streak going.
He does. He does. Yeah, I mean, I keep on feeling like there's going to be more like all-out war, but I really don't know what that looks like in this whole drug trade thing. I don't know what that looks like.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got, man.
Wait, you got one more person.
Oh my gosh, Dennis?
Yeah.
Dennis is going to start working on the gym, but he ain't got no money, so I'm not sure what he's going to do there. Maybe the deacon helps him put together some kind of a fundraiser or something like that.
Okay.
But he is going to start working on the gym, like getting it cleaned up or whatever.
Okay.
But he's gonna need some. I mean, he's saying that he's got to do this by himself. I'm saying he's going to find out that he cannot just do it by himself.
Right.
He's going to need some assistance.
Okay. We'll learn that he needs. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. I like that too, especially because like you're basically he hears I got to do this, go on this journey by myself.
A to B by myself.
But Ellie's like, no.
No,
you don't know. You know.
Not. Come on.
Come on, Dennis. Don't be ridiculous.
Dennis,
okay.
silly.
All right. Well, okay. Well, that gets us to the end. So I mean, let's see, 1,
this episode
2,
is so
3,
good.
4, 5, 6, 7 again.
Oh shit! Did I do 7?
7 again.
Wow.
I mean, you get the Barksdales. You got 2 with the Barksdales.
Okay.
And then So yeah, this episode was just. I mean, it's just so good.
Oh,
so,
this one is excellent.
Yeah.
One of the best.
So, okay. Well, that leaves the end of episode 8. Moral Midgetry. I said it right that time.
You did it.
And so we will be back next week to cover season 3, episode 9, Slapstick.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is a interesting.
That is
thing.
very interesting.
Okay. It's gonna be a laugh riot.
I don't think it's gonna be funny.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think it might involve sticks.
I'm not gonna mark that down as a prediction, or maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I will. Okay. All right. But that's it for this episode. So Ellie, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody.
And we will see you all next week.
Bye.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time...
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean someone's not out to get you, right?